Yeah, so Islanders are back in the playoff mix. They traded Brock Nelson at the trade deadline. They were at their worst 8 points out of a playoff spot.
Yep.
And now they find themselves 3 points out with a game coming up tomorrow or later today, by the time you're listening to this, perhaps later today, against the team that they're chasing in the Montreal Canadiens, who hold the second wild card spot. They're sitting at 73 points. The Islanders are at 70 points, so a regulation win would put them 1 point out of a playoff spot. They also have the Rangers in front of them. The Rangers are the first team out on the line. They are 2 points ahead of the Islanders. But Isles alive and well, I guess. Back-to-back comeback wins in the third period.
PNC Islanders also have, as it stands right now, the first tiebreaker against the Canadiens. Islanders have 25 regulation wins to the Canadiens 24. Ridiculous.
Okay.
Absolutely ridiculous.
Wow.
I can't believe we're here. And I'm sure I'm not the only one. I know you are. Just like not even a couple of days ago, maybe a week ago, we were talking about how it's not possible or it's going to be super unlikely for the Islanders to leapfrog the 4 to 5 teams that they have to leapfrog to get into a playoff position. Now, of course, they're not currently in a playoff position, but they've bridged that gap friggin' quickly, mainly because the teams around them are absolute dog shit. Columbus have lost 4 straight. The Rangers have lost 2 straight, or 4-4-2 in their last 10. Detroit 2-8 in their last 10, and the Bruins, who are going down like a sinking ship, 3-6-1. What the frig is happening in the East, man?
The seas are parting for a path to that second wild card spot in the Eastern Conference. Ottawa at 77 points. They feel more comfortable than where these other teams are. But that second one's up for grabs, dude.
Absolutely. It's 100% up for grabs, and the Islanders are right frigging there. They shouldn't be. And admittedly, my opinion is that it sucks that they're in this position. I hope that some have a different opinion and that they're happy that the Islanders are in a playoff position, because I would want to live in that world where I'm 100% happy. I'm only like 45% happy that they're kind of close to playoff position. I want to be at 100%, but I can't get there. I can't do it.
No, I can't get there either, but I can't say that I'm upset about it. And I'm also not happy, but I don't really have any feelings towards it. I've been sticking with my team numb, like, you know how that's kind of been my gimmick, and be like, all right, I'm not going to get too high if they win or too low if they lose, and just kind of be like, whatever happens. And I guess I've been in that so long that I can't even get myself to be like, all right, they gotta do this thing and, rattle off X amount of wins. I think you could spin it as a positive in either way. So I'm just gonna enjoy the ride, which is whatever happens. If they fall off, they end up losing, and they pick 10th in the NHL draft, fine, so be it. Then we could spin it. They got a top 10 pick out of this season. Or if they lose, or if they win rather, and make the playoffs, then you go, all right, well, things went really wrong for this team again, and they still found a way to make the playoffs without Matthew Barzal, without Anthony Duclair. They trade for most of the season. They trade Brock Nelson, and they still found a way.
Yeah, they still found a way. So we look at it now. The Islanders are, like you said, 70 points. They're 3 points back. Is there a path to them making the playoffs? Of course, mathematically there is, but realistically, is there a path for these New York Islanders to make the playoffs, in your opinion?
Yes, and I'll tell you why. I think it falls on one person's back, and that's Ilya Sorokin, who's been honestly awesome his last 20 games. I know the numbers on the full season aren't phenomenal. He's rocking a 906 and a 272 goals against average on the season, which is like whatever numbers.
Yes.
But over his last 20 games, he's a top 6 goalie in the NHL. In goal save above expected, he's at 13.5, which is obviously 6th most. And then goal save above expected per 60, his 7.28 is 5th in the NHL over that span.
Yeah. He hasn't posted a save percentage below 900 in his last 6 games, which is pretty freaking good. But if we go back to January 25th, so that's 18 games, basically your sample there, 911 save percentage, which isn't fantastic, but it's better than what he's got right now on the season. And it goals against average of what here? If I can do them, well, the math is going to be hard. 44 times 60 divided by 994.5. It's like a 2.5 goals against average.
That's
pretty good.
That's
numbers.
pretty good. That's I would say pretty close to league average if I had to guess. Maybe even above.
And that's a streak there where you've got from the end of February to the beginning of March, where he goes like 8-5-2 for most of it, right? He's from that period. What is it? There's 7 games there where he goes 2-5-0 with an 865 goals against average. That's included in that, right? So that drags those numbers down. If he's even just kind of good for half of those games, that changes everything for his stat line. It looks even better than what it is.
But over his last, if you even want to just do like the last 6 games here, hang on to that, because those are really going to pop.
Yeah, nothing lower than a 900.
Yeah, 928 save percentage. 4-1-1. Goals against is 2-2.
Really friggin' good numbers there from Ilya Sorokin. Of course, small sample size, but he's the guy that we're riding the rest of the way. So based off of that alone, we can make the playoffs. And we've seen him do it before, right? Like, this isn't the first year that Ilya Sorokin has willed us into the playoffs.
Yeah, 2 years ago.
Outstanding play.
Yeah, we just saw it happen 2 years ago.
Right. And now that we're so friggin' close, the potential is there, because if you go for, like, what is it? We have 15 games left, I think.
Yes.
Yeah. 15 games left on the season. That's not a huge sample size, right? That's not a lot of games for one goalie to go nuclear and just go God mode and will us in. By the hair on our chins, of course, but we'd get in. And we've seen him do it. The one thing that I worry is that our schedule is difficult. It is one of the toughest schedules remaining in the NHL. And when I say worry, like, it's worry about the playoffs. I'm not really that kind of worried, but it's a phrase, a turn of speech, if you will.
No, I get exactly what you mean, though, and how you're saying it. You're right. There are some tough games coming up ahead. They just beat the Panthers the other night, the defending champs, 4-2. They beat Pittsburgh, which is, a team that hasn't been very good this year. But, I mean, you have games later on the road against Tampa Bay, on the road against Carolina, at home against Tampa Bay, Minnesota, Washington. Then a game against Nashville, but then, like, the Rangers and the Devils and Washington and Columbus again to close. They have some good teams that they're facing, but they're playing good hockey right now. They're turning it on when they need it the most, because they look like completely dead for a period and a half, and then it's like the light switch goes, and then they just start scoring goals.
If you like that, make sure to subscribe to Up the Turnpike on Patreon for more exclusive New York Islanders content.